All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Madness here on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Goal MF Michael Flecha alongside Michael Bullock and Anthony Florio. The fellas are in the house. You guys already know the deal. We start with NXT 2.0. We'll follow that by AEW Rampage. I should say AEW Dynamite. All right. Sorry. Already Dipsy Doo Botcheroo earlier to start the show. My bad. I apologize in advance. Let's do it. Let's start it off. And we started off with NXT 2.0. We started with the promo segment. Actually, this was kind of more picture in picture. But, there was a little bit of some stuff that happened. But first match of the night was Tiffany Stratton against Saray. Tiffany Stratton wins the match in 4 minutes and 31 seconds. I'm going to say this. I'm a little shocked that Saray lost it here. Tiffany Stratton, they're trying to get her to build her up, maybe as a possible threat in NXT, but she went up against the Magic Girl mode of Saray. So this isn't, so as you know, there's I guess you could say there's three sides to Saray. There's the Magic Girl, there's the Schoolgirl, and then there's, the Devastator, the one that that would be the powerhouse. So it's very interesting to see what type of way that they're going to do it. It almost reminds me of the Three Faces of Foley, to say the very least. So Three Faces of Foley type style, they're doing that with Saray. So you got the Magic Girl, you got the Schoolgirl type, and then you got, Saray, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But all in all, very good start to the event, very good start to the show. And, I'm not going to rate this much because it was a short match. If you want to call a fun little sprint, I wouldn't be too angry with you with it. But it was all right. So, Anthony, it's yours.
1.5 to 2 for this. To be honest, this was bad for multiple reasons. Tiffany Stratton still doesn't look like she's ready to compete on live television each week. Despite this, she beat a veteran clean in a match that did not even go 5 minutes. The finish, though, was particularly egregious. Stratton poorly sold Saray's dropkick despite it looking painful, and then forced the Warrior of the Sun to sell an awkward headbutt and Vader bomb. It invalidated all of the work done in building Saray's new character in this feud. Tiffany Stratton hit a springboard somersault knee drop and then freaked out because it only got a 2 count. And then the Warrior of the Sun planted Stratton with an exploder and diving double foot stomp to set up the basement dropkick. On impact, the buff Darby fell out of the ring, saving her from a loss. But yeah, this was about 1.5 to 2. But the one positive out of this, biggest win of Tiffany Stratton's young career. I mean, to beat someone the caliber of a Saray, I mean, that might definitely slowly but surely might, start catapulting her up the women's division standings in a sense. I'm not necessarily saying a championship committee moment because it's not by any means, but it could definitely start planting the seeds for her to possibly be in contention someday. But I digress. But 1.5 to 2 for this. So not the best match, but Michael Bullock, Phenom, come on in. Definitely, even though this was not the best match, it was still, as far as I'm concerned, it's the biggest win of Tiffany Stratton's young career.
Yeah, it definitely is the biggest win of Tiffany Stratton's career. I mean, beating someone like Saray. I mean, yeah, it was a short match. I mean, but it was a nice little sprint here. 1.5 stars is my rating. So who knows what's next for her? So yeah, there's really nothing more to add to it. So let's move on, Fletch.
All right, so next up on the fight card, we got Wasanga going one-on-one with Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller wins the match in 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Anthony, if you want to give a thought, you can. I didn't really think anything much of this match here, though.
When you put it that way, it's kind of like the infamous moment, one of our many favorite moments from WrestleMania 6. It was really nothing to speak of anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm.
But I will say this though, it was fine for the in-ring action, but it was always rushed. Sanga barely got to enjoy beating down Grayson Waller before he fell to just one move. But this is the big part here. I mean, it makes no sense to break up Waller and Sanga this early. These two only started in January and look to be set up as an interesting tandem. Instead, Waller is back to ground zero as a loudmouth heel, and Sanga will probably disappear again. So, I could probably give this in excess of 1.5 for the effort here. So, Bullock, if you want to give a quick thought, feel free, or if not, you can just move on. Totally up to you.
1 star for the effort. I mean, yeah, I mean, like you said, Florio. I mean, why break it up this soon? I mean, if they literally had something going, I mean, what was the point of breaking them up? So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, 1 star. I'm not going to really give too much about it or too much credence about it either, but we do have an interesting vignette that came out after that, and her name is Roxanne Perez. Now, a lot of people was wondering, they're like, wait a minute, Roxanne Perez, but this girl looks very familiar. Why do I even know? I know her. I've seen this girl.
I have too.
And Anthony has seen this girl before too.
Not Bullock, though.
Bullock, this is the Ring of Honor, a former Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Her name was Roxy. And not only that, boys, but she's only 20 years old.
And on top of that, I know Roxy because of you remember, MF. I talked about it in one of my recent Tony's takes earlier this year on a Ridiculously Raw show. It was Roxy who went to Impact Wrestling and had that big unification match with Deonna Purrazzo.
Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa.
Yep. And what a match it was.
Roxy left after the fallout from Ring of Honor, and now has found her way to WWE and the NXT brand. So I cannot wait to see what she brings to the table. Next up, Michael Bullock gets to lead this one off. Legado del Fantasma, Cruz del Toro, and Joaquin Wilde. They went up against Drake and Gibson. Legado del Fantasma wins the match in 3 minutes and 57 seconds. So Bullock, it's yours.
I mean, to me, and I'll say this, I mean, with a team like that, with these two teams, I think they should have gotten more time here. It was way too short for my liking. I mean, I can only give it 1 star for the effort. So that's it. Fletch, it's yours.
Agreed. 1 star. Again, the matches are... This one here had a good feel. It given more time, I think this would have been a show stealer. But they cut it too short for us, and I'm not happy about it. So, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. Legado del Fantasma and the GYV. Oh my gosh. It was all right. Pure spot fest from start to finish, flying by to hit each key moment in less than 4 minutes. It was nice to see Legado finally winning again. It was a big momentum reset for the teams. Legado can begin to raise their standing while GYV needs something fresh to make them relevant again. I'll give it 1.5 to 2 because, I kind of felt it was a somewhat of a fun little sprint. Wild and Toro dived out of the ring onto Gibson and Drake, and then Gibson stopped Toro from hitting him with a superplex, but his opponent turned it into an explosive head scissors takedown. And then afterward, Fallon Henley, Josh Briggs, and Brooks Jensen attacked Legado. And next week, Tuesday night on the next NXT 2.0, we're going to have ourselves a 6-person intergender mixed tag team match, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Fallon Henley, along with Briggs and Jensen, will be squaring off against Legado del Fantasma, including Electra Lopez. So,
Lopez, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza are the three.
Okay. All right. So those three will be representing Legado against Briggs, Jensen, and Fallon Henley. So that could be good. So, it's not going to be, an instant classic or anything, but it's got potential to be a halfway decent fight. So, I'll definitely look forward to seeing that. I mean, we already know what the men are capable of. I mean, we already know what Electra Lopez is capable of because we've seen her wrestle a few times. But I'm very anxious to see what Fallon Henley can do because this is her first real test of a match here. So it'll be interesting to see how Fallon Henley will. I'm very interested to see her credentials. So we'll see what happens. So 1.5 to 2, fun little sprint for me, even though it wasn't earth shattering. So not much more to say. And there's got to be some good in here somewhere.
It starts right now, and it started with my boy Carmelo Hayes versus Anthony's boy Santos Escobar. Carmelo Hayes wins the match, 13 minutes, 54 seconds. All right, that's it. Throw it up. Fight of the night honors, 3.5 to 3 3/4. Finally, NXT gives us a banger. And we were sitting here waiting. We're like, where the heck is the good matches? We found it. It happened right here. And why? And what the hell? It's the two best stars on the NXT brand right now. Carmelo Hayes, you know how high I'm on him. Anthony Florio is wicked high on Santos Escobar. And finally, we got a good match, man. Anthony, you were looking for it. You're like, where the hell the good matches? What's going on? We found it. Here it is. Fight of the night.
Amen to that, brother. And it was about damn time too.
Absolutely.
Let me see here. All right. Unsurprisingly, this was the fight of the night. Melo and Escobar have chemistry to spare and too much talent to fail. It was surprising to see the Emperor play the babyface, but it seems Legado as a whole is transitioning, maybe to feud with Tony D'Angelo. And it was announced that they're going to have a special called NXT Spring Breakin', and it was announced that we're going to have Cameron Grimes, Carmelo Hayes, Solo Sikoa triple threat match for the North American Championship, which we all know is going to be really good. This feud is heated up and has helped make Sikoa feel like a bigger deal. And overall, this was easily the best part of NXT 2.0 this week. Trick Williams caught the leg of Escobar so that Melo could hit him with a springboard clothesline. Escobar caught a hot streak, kneeing the A champion out of the ring for a suicide dive. And then Tony D'Angelo refused to take credit for the attack on Escobar, but someone left a dead fish on Legado's car. Okay. So I will give this in excess of 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. With a little more time, I would have gone higher, but 3.5 to 3 3/4. I think that's the best we can do here. This was definitely the fight of the night. No question about it. I got to step away for 1 quick minute. So Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good match here. I'll give it about 3.5 stars. I mean, I knew this was going to be something good, especially with with the likes of Carmelo Hayes and Santos Escobar, and it did not disappoint. And yeah, I mean, I was literally saying like the same thing. I was like, thank you. It's about damn time they give us an actual good match. So yeah, now like I said, I can't wait for that that match for the North American Championship with Cameron Grimes, Carmelo Hayes, and Solo Sikoa. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Then the next match that we had Natalya going one-on-one with Tatum Presley. And Natalya wins the match in 4 minutes and 52 seconds. We don't really need to talk about it. We will say that it was a passable match. Look, Tatum Presley getting an opportunity to go up against the Queen of Hearts herself, Natalya. It wasn't really much to talk about, but it was still passable for what it was worth. Then we had Wesley versus Exxon Quinn. And yeah, Exxon Quinn wins the match in 3 minutes and 29 seconds. Another short match. Nothing in the way of making anything amazing on that either. But remember, this is the first match for Wesley since he lost Nash Carter. Of course, Nash Carter got let go by WWE. So at the end of the day, it's just kind of one of those situations. We'll wait and see what happens. And Bullock, do you want to say something quick?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, and you even said it. I mean, this was Wesley's first match since the whole Nash Carter situation. I mean, you all know the situation by now. We don't need to rehash it.
No.
But to me, I mean, I'll be quite honest, Fletch. I mean, I thought maybe they would at least put Wesley over, maybe just to how do I say it? Just to get him something to feel good about himself, especially after everything that he went through. But I guess they really want to put.
But I don't think it's that it was a burial or anything else like that. I mean, he had a good performance.
I'm not saying it was a burial. I'm not saying it was a burial.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, and even one of the guys from ProWrestling.net, he even said despite taking the loss, Wesley looked really good in his first match away from the MSK Rascals, and they said that they hope that he doesn't get punished because of what happened to but they believe that, you know, they're hoping for something good in the near future. I think that's the best way to say it right now. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you could say that the right man won because Exxon Quinn deserved that victory. There's no doubt about it. It's just, it was a bit unfortunate what happened, but I can't say anything that was wrong. It's just sometimes that happens in wrestling. So I got really nothing more to say. So then the next match was JC Jane from Toxic Attraction. She went one-on-one with Roxanne Perez. Mike Bullock, here it is. We were talking about Roxy and everything else. You got to see her live and in color for the first time ever. And Roxanne Perez wins the match in 2 minutes and 17 seconds. So impressive victory for Roxanne, getting her first win. And what quick thought for you, Bullock?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. I mean, she looked impressive. I mean, yeah, it was in the short amount of time, but not bad for her first match. I mean, especially going up against one half of the women's tag team champions and JC Jane from Toxic Attraction, and I mean, I was a little worried at first, Fletch. I mean, because part of me was thinking, oh, she's going up against JC Jane from Toxic Attraction, thinking like this has got squash written all over it, but no. I mean, she was very impressive, and who knows, maybe somewhere down the line, I mean, she could be a future champion, maybe sometime next year. So we'll have to wait and see. So a good first impression. So Fletch, I give it to you.
All right. I'm just gonna give a quick. Anthony, are you back in, bro, or just want to see? All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. It was just a quick thing.
All right. Do you have any thoughts on any of the matches, or or are you pretty much in agreement with what me and Bullock were doing?
You were talking about the Zion Quinn and Wes Lee
Yeah.
match. It would have been nice if that went a little longer, but the story was well told for the time they had, and Lee is playing the uncertain single star in neither direction, and Quinn may be the man to help him find his voice again. He just needed to knock him out first, and former MSK member Lee has the talent to shine on his own, but he just needs the right spotlight, and given how much NXT put behind him as a tag team star, he should hopefully get the same on his own with some time to reheat. And that's really all there is to say with that. And as far as Roxy goes, with that big win, it wasn't much of a match, but it worked fine as a dramatic introduction for Perez. She is a talented wrestler with serious upside, as long as WWE commits to her. Putting you guys on notice, commit to this girl because she's got the talent. Trust me, MF and I know. We've seen her. And defeating a member of Toxic Attraction in her debut proves she has some focus behind her. And she can do way more than she showed here. But the night was filled with rushed matches. Hopefully, future bouts featuring Perez will have more substance. And that's really what there was to say there. So, no really ratings, but I do, for the most part, agree with you guys. I just wanted to, add my little 2 cents as part of it. So,
yeah,
that's really all there is to say. So, and I just came across an interesting story that I think needs to be added to the TXN Sports World docket for tomorrow night, and I'll address that at the end. But for right now, yeah, because this one came out of nowhere. So, theme of our night tonight, if you know what I mean. So that's really it. So whatever the next match is, MF, set it up.
Main event. It is Pretty Deadly, the new NXT Tag Team Champions. They actually put those belts on the line against Duke Hudson and Dexter Lumis. The winners of the bout in 11 minutes and 47 seconds was Pretty Deadly. They successfully defend the tag team titles. Anthony Florio, you lead off on this. Easily second best fight of the night, and you got to give it up. I did not think this match was going to amount to anything, and I think we can say this was actually a pleasant surprise, even a sleeper fight of the night.
What was the time on that again?
11:47.
That translates to 3 to 3.25 stars for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Well, this came about because the ladies, Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada, they tricked Pretty Deadly into agreeing to an NXT Tag Team Championship match against Dexter Lumis and Duke Hudson. And then Hudson stormed out of the locker room after struggling to communicate with Dex. But thanks to a few miscommunications between the challengers and the cunning of the champions, Pretty Deadly had the number of their surprisingly popular opponent. And it was unusual watching Duke Hudson as the babyface, but he played the role admirably. And it was the first time this entire angle has worked. And Hudson and Lumis, as an odd couple, strange bedfellows tag team, has potential here. Kind of like a Team Hell No or an RK Bro in a sense. And the lights went out afterward, and then that talked about the whole Joe Gacy thing. But this show should have ended with Pretty Deadly standing tall again, or the return of an angry Creed brothers out for revenge. But the post match overtook it. So this was about 3.25. it was definitely the second best fight of the night, and it was the sleeper fight of the night because we didn't think this was going to amount to anything. MF is 100% right on that, and that's really all there is to say on that. So, I would give this about 3.25 for me. So that being said, Michael Bullock, champions stay the champions, and that's all there is to it. So 3.25. So Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 3.25. I agree with the rating. I mean, I thought this wasn't going to add to something good, but it turned out to be something better than what I expected. I mean, and I thought that a match like this should have closed the show instead of all that post-match stuff with Joe Gacy. But it is what it is. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, 3.25. There's really nothing more to add, so we're just gonna give it to overall review. And Mike Bullock, you lead off.
All right. I can only give this a 5 out of 10 here. I mean, you did have a couple of really good matches, but so many short matches just really overtook this. So, yeah, so 5 out of 10 for me. I could go even lower than that. So, but I'm just being real generous with this. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, you're being very generous with the rating. I'm actually going to go lower, 4 out of 10. I thought it was a very bad show. Yeah, you had two good matches. I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a major, major, major letdown by NXT 2.0. There's really nothing for me to add here. So, Anthony, you got the final say before we get into AEW.
Who do I agree with? I agree with MF. This was a 4 out of 10. It had the feel of a vintage NXT 2.0 show, and lately their shows hadn't been too bad lately. The last few weeks, I mean, they were solid to pretty good shows, but this time around, yeah, not so much. It's definitely a 4 out of 10 for me. I 100% agree with MF. Cue the legendary Bret Hart not impressed me, because I sure as hell was not impressed with the show. We only had two good matches. Everything else was blah. It had the feel of a vintage NXT 2.0 show. And hopefully when we get to that spring break-in event, hopefully because when they have these special shows, events, or what have you, they usually put together some decent stuff. So hopefully when we get to spring break-in, it'll get better. But for right now, it's a 4 out of 10. So with that being said, let's get into AEW Dynamite. It was another loaded show from Pittsburgh, headlined by the big announcement from one Mr. Tony Khan himself.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to lead it off with CM Punk versus Dustin Rhodes. CM Punk won the match in 17 minutes and 30 seconds. This was an excellent opener. Look, it was slow and plotty in parts, and I know a lot of people weren't really too excited or thrilled about how some of the matches were going, but I will say this. They really, really, really brought it together. They did a very good job of aligning itself with some other stuff that went down. So it was easily 3.5 to 3.75. I'll give that the rating. I thought this was excellent for what it was worth, but it was slow and plotty in parts, so it wasn't the perfect performance. It wasn't the perfect match, but for what it was worth, they did a really good job with it. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
3.5 to 3.75 stars. I 100% agree with the rating. A great old school wrestling match. Saw each man target a limb of their opponent and work over it. Hobbled by a left leg injury, Dustin Rhodes broke out crossroads in a standard pile driver. And then Punk tried to go for the GTS, but his left arm injury prevented him from executing it. And in the end, it was Punk countering Rhodes' own counter, stacking him up in a roll-up for the win. The in-ring psychology and storytelling on display is the sort of thing only accomplished by wrestlers with the experience and appreciation for the artistry of wrestling can pull off. And CM Punk and Dustin Rhodes have been there, done that, but still put in the work that reflected their love of the industry. And as Punk prepares for a high-profile match against another babyface and Hangman Adam Page, this was a great tune-up and preview of what to expect when they clash, presumably Memorial Day weekend in Las Vegas at Double or Nothing. We strongly believe it's going to be those two for the title, and we also feel that Punk will, whether we like it or not, I mean, it'll be cool for the business, but as from a professional standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, we kind of want to see Hangman hang on to it a little longer and solidify himself as, you know, as a great AEW world champion. But you know, it's going to be Punk. I mean, I believe he'll get the moment, but you never know. You never know in this business. We think one thing will happen, the other thing happens. We've seen this many of times. A lot of things we never thought we'd see in professional wrestling, some things we consider sure things, but let me tell you folks, as I always say, there's no such thing as a sure thing. So read into that what you will. So with that being said, 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star. Michael Bullock, great way to start it off. Great old school style wrestling match. You know how much you and I love the old school wrestling matches. This was definitely one of those old school wrestling matches that you and I have loved for so many years.
Yeah, this is definitely an old school type wrestling match that you and I love, Florio. And yeah, 3.5 to 3 3/4. I mean, yes, it was slow in some spots, but it was still enjoyable. But yeah, and you could see afterwards with the encounter that CM Punk had with Adam Hangman Page, it looks like they're destined to face each other for the AEW World Title at Double or Nothing. But and as much as I want to, I'm torn with this one. Part of me wants to see CM Punk become the new champion, but another part of me wants to see them have Adam Hangman Page hold on to the title a little longer. So, like you said, you never know. I mean, I do want to say I think it's going to be Punk, but I've seen this story happen. I've seen this script so many times where we predict one person's going to win the match, and then the next thing you know, they pull the rug out from underneath us and give us a different result. So we'll have to wait and see. So nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
All right. With that said, we do move on, and the next match of the evening was the Blackpool Combat Club. They went up against the team of Dante Martin, Brock Anderson, and Lee Moriarty, and it was the Blackpool Combat Club. Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, and Wheeler Yuta getting the victory in 7 minutes and 16 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
I will give this in excess of 2.5 to 3 for this. Hold on. Okay, here we go. No, you know what? I'm actually going to give it 3 stars because this was an energetic trios match that managed to continue building momentum for the BCC by way of their victory, while simultaneously giving Moriarty, Martin, and Anderson the opportunity to shine against former world champions and a red-hot Wheeler Yuta. Moriarty, in particular, looked great and was clearly motivated even more by the hometown crowd. He could very easily slide into the BCC next and fit everything that faction is about. And Bryan Danielson did mention him by name at the outset of the storyline after all. So, William Regal citing his friendship with Arn Anderson and their history together, then revealing he prepped his team on what to expect from young Brock Anderson was so good. Regal is an expert at lending credibility and legitimacy to the industry, and this was no different. And Moriarty answering Danielson's slap with one of his own was a great moment of defiance by a guy unfazed by the resume or reputation of his opponent. So, this was easily a 3-star match. You could even make an argument for 3 1/4 if you wanted to, because this was a very, very fun little sprint. No question about this. And Michael Bullock, if they could pull a 3 to 3.25 star rating out of me for like 7.5 minutes of work, just imagine what kind of rating they would have gotten if this had been double that or even longer. We would have been talking instant classic here.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, 3.25. I mean, to pull that in a match that it's only like just over 7 minutes. I mean, that's saying something there. And yeah, this faction here is something that we need to take seriously. I mean, it's with Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and now Wheeler Yuta. Oh boy, that's gonna be tough for anybody from AEW to deal with. So yeah, nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the body of work said the whole thing. It's been an incredible. They did really good here. They did really well. To see Moriarty, Brock Anderson, and Dante Martin, they did really well. But the outcome was never in doubt. The outcome was never in doubt because I think we all knew that the Blackpool Combat Club was going to win it. It's just it was pretty well done. So then we had our big moment, the moment that we were waiting for, the big announcement by Mr. Tony Khan. Khan comes out, fired up as usual, and then brought out the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And now we're like, wait just a minute. What is going on? Well, they just announced that for the first time since Ring of Honor did this, AEW and New Japan are going to work together on a mega event that will be held Sunday night, June 26th, from the UC, the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. And it will be called AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling presents Forbidden Door. So, what's going to happen is a lot of AEW superstars might be involved and might actually face off with some of your favorite stars of New Japan Pro Wrestling. We'll see how this plays out, but one thing is for sure, this show will be a massive event. Then we had the interruptions. Then Adam Cole interrupted, talking about the Elite, talking about the Undisputed Elite. And the next thing that we saw, or the next thing that we know, the next person that came out was the Switchblade Jay White. Now, we've seen Jay White. We've seen what he's done. Obviously, Impact Wrestling, New Japan himself. And he showed up. It's going to be very interesting to see what he does now. So, we got to sell the situation, guys. New Japan and AEW is working together. And this is a monster event. I mean, yeah, Anthony, I'm going to open form this, guys. New Japan, AEW, Forbidden Door coming to the United Center in Chicago in June. Early thoughts.
Well, first things first, we have to most assuredly give credit to our former broadcast colleague Derek Ferreira, because he's the one who broke this news. He did a video about this a day or two ago. He said that Tony Khan's announcement was going to be the announcement of this event, and hey, he got it again. He did it again, and we got to definitely give him the credit where it's due. But this announcement was massive for diehard wrestling fans, and the latest co-branded event that puts over Tony Khan's willingness to work with other promoters for the benefit of the audience, benefit of us, and it'll be interesting to see if it affects business in any measurable way. But there is no denying the implications such a partnership has. Might we see talent sharing between the two in the very near future? You know, we're just gonna have to wait and see on that. And another announcement is that Friday night on Rampage, Adam Cole is gonna fight Tomohiro Ishii in an Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament qualifier. Whoa. Okay. That's an MF special right there. Because I know MF knows the history. So I know he'll probably elaborate on that in a bit. But man alive, I mean, it's a very exciting announcement. And June 26th, I mean, hey, let's do it. I mean, I can't wait to see it. And it's going to be a treat for all of us. And especially a treat for Bullock because he hasn't really seen some of these New Japan guys. I mean, I've seen, you know, some New Japan stuff here and there. Of course, for MF, I mean, MF follows it religiously, as does our former broadcast colleague, Derek Ferreira. But, you know, that's just besides the point. But anyways, great announcement. It's a very exciting announcement. And, you know, professional wrestling keeps doing bigger and better things. And it's a win-win for both companies, but also it's a win-win for all of us because you know how I am about us being winners too. I mean, we're all winners, and it's going to be a treat for all of us, and I can't wait. I mean, I'm definitely going to go for this, no doubt. So with that being said, open forum. So MF or Bullock, whoever wants it next, take it.
I'll tell you what, I mean, this will be my first time ever getting to see wrestlers from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, I've been hearing about it, especially from Derek Ferreira, saying that they're a damn good promotion, but man, I mean, you get this with AEW working together. Whew. Man, oh man! I mean, I cannot wait. I mean, just think of some of the matches that we could see on that night. So, once again, I'll say it, guys. Tony Khan has done it again. I mean, he's doing it for the fans. Unlike some other guy from another wrestling company. Well, I'll just leave it at that. But Tony Khan, I mean, he deserves major credit for this. So I cannot wait for June 26th to really get a glimpse of this. So, Fletch, it is yours.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Incredible evening. It's going to be incredible. So, yeah, unprecedented event. Like I said, the last time that they did an event like this was in Madison Square Garden during WrestleMania weekend. And it was New Japan and Ring of Honor that did a show like that. And Jay White alluded to it. He was in the main event, and that was Kazuchika Okada versus Jay White for the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Heavyweight title. And when it was all said and done, it was Okada winning back the IWGP Heavyweight title. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out, and it's going to be an incredible event. So we'll see how this looks. But next up, we had on the actual show here. We had was Warlow going 1-on-1 versus the Butcher. Warlow wins the match in 4 minutes and 19 seconds. Michael Bullock, it's all yours. Bullock?
Yeah, I'm here. So
all right. Warlow versus Butcher.
Yeah, I'll give it 1 star for the effort here, but man, I mean, yeah, I mean MJF, I mean I mean, he continues to make Wardlow's life a living hell. I mean, having him come out in handcuffs and Florio. I mean, when you see Wardlow come out in handcuffs, what does that remind you of?
Reminds me of Kane when he was on house arrest in 2003.
Yeah, exactly. And he had no theme music. So this is basically MJF being a total D-bag and trying to continue to make Wardlow's life a living hell. So even after winning the match, he was back in the handcuffs. But I'll tell you this right now, MJF, you may be laughing and smiling right now like a total D-bag. But mark my word, when that day comes, and it will come, Wardlow's going to get his hands on you, and he's going to squash you like a bug, and nobody is going to feel sorry for you, MJF. So go screw yourself, and yeah, so enjoy all the smiles, all the laughing, all you can, because somewhere down the line, it's going to come to an end at the hands of Wardlow. So, Fletch, it's yours.
I don't think he's smiling and laughing now. Wardlow just took out the Butcher. The Butcher's is I mean, that's no easy feat for what he just did. So no, without a doubt, MJF knows Wardlow is definitely a threat. He knows he's an impact player. He knows that what he's doing now is dangerous. So MJF is trying anything in his power to stop the big guy. And how are you going to do that? By trying to throw the monkey wrench at him. That's why you saw him going and now turning him against the Murder Hawk monster, Lance Archer, next week. So Wardlow he's not afraid. He's playing the game. He's enjoying it. He knows what's going on. He knows the situation. So he knows that MJF can keep playing his games as long as he's trying to make his life a living hell. Wardlow's like, you know what? You can do whatever you want to do with me, but sooner or later, you're gonna get your butt kicked, and I'm gonna be the one to be kicking it. So he knows what's going on. He's not afraid either, and that's the beauty. Wardlow MJF thinks, oh, I got him right where I want him. Oh no, you don't. You don't got nothing on him, and it's only a matter of time. So, yeah, he's not afraid. He's all good. So, go ahead, Anthony. It's all yours. Wardlow, like I said, he beat the Butcher. That's a not small, easy feat. But now he's going after the Murder Hawk monster next week. Ooh, that's going to be a good one. I'm excited for that one.
Just like this will be another Be a Man fight, but I think this Be a Man fight is going to be better.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know what Archer's capable of. Everybody dies, right?
Everybody dies. Yep.
We love that theme, but anywho, it was after Tony Khan's announcement. MJF introduced Wardlow without the theme music and all that, and Wardlow absorbed everything thrown at him by his massive opponent, overcoming a damaged lower back and the Butcher's own powerbomb finisher to deliver 4 consecutive powerbombs for the emphatic win. Rarely pretty, the Battle of Big Men further legitimized Wardlow and put over the unstoppable force the War Dog has been since the start of the new year. This was easy. This was about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. And Wardlow laughed after the win, knowing full well the showdown with MJF is inevitable. And the 4 straight powerbombs to a guy the size of Butcher was an impressive sight and the sort of star-making moment that Wardlow needs to continue compiling en route to the match with his old buddy Max, which I believe it'll be Double or Nothing. That's just how I feel. So 2.5, 2 3/4 for this, but next week I think it's going to be even better. So with that being said, MF, let's continue on.
Kyle O'Reilly going one-on-one with Jungle Boy in a Owen Hart Foundation tournament matchup. Kyle O'Reilly advances and qualifies. 12 minutes and 45 seconds. Solid match. This is easily 3 stars. Look, I'm a little surprised that they give it to Riley, even though Jungle Boy would have been the perfect guy for this because of the fact that, because I really feel like Jungle Boy would have been the perfect guy. Because, look, Jungle Boy has won so many matches. You've seen the body of work. He was the first one to 50 wins. He's well on his way. I think he's got like 73 wins in AEW right now. At the rate that he's going, he might hit 100 possibly by maybe September. Like right now, he's well on his way to getting 100 victories and being the first man in AEW history to get 100 wins. So I don't know what there is to say. I hope they give him the mega push and get him. But Kyle O'Reilly does win it. That means Red Dragon gets represented in the tournament. Yeah, nothing more to say. So Anthony, it's yours. This was easily 3 stars for me.
3 to 3.25 for me. Kyle O'Reilly wrestled his first singles match in AEW tonight, defeating Jungle Boy to advance in the Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament in a solid wrestling match. The styles appeared to clash on occasion, and O'Reilly opting not to sell certain moves while transitioning into others did not help. But there was plenty to like about this one. The intensity in particular, another opportunity would likely net an even better match. With all due respect, MF, it was imperative that O'Reilly went over here to maintain some semblance of credibility, because Team Red Dragon has not achieved many notable victories, and their recent loss to Jurassic Express put them in danger of being perceived as a little more than Adam Cole's sidekicks. And this win went a long way in reestablishing O'Reilly and putting him in a position to build momentum in the tournament. And O'Reilly countering Jungle Boy's springboard arm drag attempt into a crossed arm breaker was a great spot and set the tone for the match. O'Reilly essentially no-selling an overhead suplex into the corner just to work an arm bar on the top rope was an interesting choice. And that's really all there is to say here. 3.25 for this. So with that, Michael Bullock, Kyle O'Reilly, moving on. MF considered it a bit of an upset, but I kind of thought it was imperative that O'Reilly wins because, maintain some sort of credibility for Red Dragon, because they haven't really done much since coming to AEW from NXT.
Yeah, I'm more with Florio on this one. Would I wanted to see Jungle Boy moving on in the Owen Hart tournament? Absolutely, but
same here.
Like he said, but like Florio said, I think Kyle O'Reilly needed this victory more because, yes, Red Dragon, especially Kyle O'Reilly, did have an impact early, but we haven't seen much out of them. So I think Kyle O'Reilly going over here makes a little more sense for me. But like I said, this is just me, how I feel about it. So, and it's nothing against Jungle Boy. He'll get a big time push eventually. Obviously with him holding the AEW World Tag Team titles with Luchasaurus, so we'll wait and see how it goes. So, I still got high hopes for Jungle Boy here, so nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
All right. Next up that we do have was Hook going one-on-one with Anthony Henry. Hook wins the match in 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Look, the handsome devil himself, basically no problem, did what he needed it to do. You saw Tony Nese in the crowd looking at him with smart Mark Sterling, and then Danhausen try to put the curse on Hook again, fails, and then Danhausen, he's had enough. He got angry. He's like, Hook refuses to be cursed by Danhausen. He would have to fight Danhausen. look, if you really looked at it, Hook looked amused at a minute, like, you gotta be kidding me. You really want to do this? And then walked right away from him. So it looks like we might actually get Hook versus Danhausen one-on-one in a match. So I don't know what to make of it. I mean, yes, Danhausen's been trying to curse Hook for the longest time, and every time he tries, Hook has just gone right through him. Like, it's nothing. Like, you're nothing, man. You're just a prop. I'm not gonna take you seriously. Like, who are you? What are you about? You don't do nothing here. Putting curses on people? Get out of here, man. I mean, that's that Brooklyn attitude. That's the Hell's Kitchen type attitude from Hook. He definitely learned that from his daddy, no doubt about that. Shoot. So after that, we had was Dr. Britt Baker versus Danielle Camillo, and Dr. Britt Baker did not come alone. She had Najee Harris and Pat Freiermuth. Yes, I probably butchered the name. It's Freiermuth from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hello, because we were in Pittsburgh tonight. And Dr. Britt Baker advances in the Owen Hart Foundation's women's tournament, winning it in 5 minutes and 21 seconds. We don't really need to get into this. So we could just talk about the main event. Anthony, you get to lead off on this one. It was Darby Allin versus Andrade El Idolo. Darby Allin wins the match in 15 minutes and 34 seconds. All right, Florio, it's yours.
All right. I would probably say this was the fight of the night here. Or maybe the second best fight of the night here. I probably would give this a solid 3.5 stars for the effort. There was just something about that Cody and Dustin match that I felt was just a smidge better. But this was right up there, though.
You mean CM Punk and Dustin?
Yeah, CM Punk and Dustin Rhodes, yeah. A wild, chaotic coffin match headline tonight's show as Darby Allin looked to settle his ongoing feud with Andrade El Idolo. There was a lot of overbooking here because, we had a lot of interference. Private Party, well, the Blade and Mark Quinn of the AFO, the revelation of Sting in the crowd and a brawl through the stands highlighted the early moments of the bout. And there will be some who are all for these brawls with thumbtacks and weaponry, and when done in moderation, they can be hugely effective. When done too frequently, though, it waters down the impact, and this bordered on that. The Stings, oh my God, Sting. I mean, I still cannot stress enough that this man is 62 years old and he's still bumping like he's freaking 30 here. I mean, it's insane. The Sting splash out of the stands was a cool moment when we saw it at Revolution, and it is always impressive when a guy his age is willing to risk it all for those crowd-pleasing spots. However, doing it too many times, though, lessens the effect and contributes to the been there, done that mentality that oftentimes encourages one step further before the ante is up to a dangerous degree. The use of thumbtacks on the lid of the coffin was totally unnecessary and did not deliver the desired effect. That the cameraman missed the shot of Allin slamming the lid on Andrade's back in favor of catching Jose, making his way down the ramp did not help matters. The intentions were good, but the match itself was more of a miss than a hit, and only further diminished El Idolo's star. I mean, Sting revealing himself as a fan in the crowd, dresses himself as a fun moment. His dive from the stands onto the heels was even more fun. But like I said, replicating it too often, though, will start to lose its impact. Allen's tope suicida on the El Idolo into the coffin was a cool spot. And then the Hardys made their presence felt after the match and seemed to hint at a match with Sting and Darby Allin, a very intriguing dream match of sorts with considerable star power. A double or nothing match for sure if that's the direction they're heading. So, solid 3.5 stars for me. It was the second best fight of the night for me. The Punk and Dustin match I felt a little better. So, Not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, I mean, crazy match, overbooked galore, a lot of interference. But I will never get tired of seeing Sting, taking these ridiculous bumps, despite the fact that he's 62 years old and he's still bumping like he's 30, like when he had the flat top. Unbelievable. So Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable to see Sting continue to do this at the age that he's at. So, yeah, I mean, 3.5 stars for the main event. I mean, it was a good way to close out what was another solid edition of Dynamite. I mean, it's just unbelievable to see. I mean, to see Sting continue doing this at the age that he's at, and yeah, I mean, this was definitely crazy. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add to it. So I'm just gonna give it to you, Fletch.
Solid close to the show. Yeah, this was a heck of a match, to say the very least. Enjoyable to say very much so, and a big win for Darby Allin. He needed this one. The thing, unfortunately, is that it was a tough luck loss for Andrade. I don't know what is up with Andrade all of a sudden. He went from being a big hire, big signing for AEW, and other than when he took over for the Hardy family compound or the Hardy family office, Andrade hasn't really done anything. I mean, it's like he's stuck on neutral all of a sudden. It's a little shocking, to say the very least. So yeah, nothing more to add, and it was a very good main event, which was I believe was 3 stars. So Michael Bullock, you lead off on the overall review. So it's yours.
Yeah, I thought this was a solid edition of Dynamite. I mean, obviously, with the some of the things that went down here, so the matches were good. I mean, you only had some. I mean, some of the matches obviously could have been better, but yeah. So there's really nothing more for me to say except I'm gonna say 7.5 to 8 for this edition. So Fletch, it's yours. Fletch.
I'm here. I'm here. So I'm gonna give this 7.5. I thought it was a very good show. The big announcement definitely delivered for the most part. I thought honestly I thought it was gonna be something bigger. But to get AEW, it was really good. So there's really nothing more to add here. So yeah, Anthony, final say.
Yeah, I'll make it unanimous. 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Typical Dynamite show, hot crowd, and Punk and Dustin by a smidge was the fight of the night. The coffin match was the second best fight. That 6-man was really good with the Blackpool Combat Club and Anderson, Moriarty, and Martin. And the other match, some of the other matches could have been better, and then of course we had the big announcement from Tony Khan there, huge announcement, and that's really all there is to say on that. Dynamite delivers another Dynamite show, no pun intended. So 7.5 to 8 out of 10. And with that, we're going to be setting up for some special future content coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually do have some special content. Tomorrow night is TXN Sports World, hosted by Anthony Florio. We have, of course, we were going to talk about we were going to have the Celtics chat and and we're also going to have the Bulls corner, as we're going to be recapping game 2s of the Eastern Conference first round. Boston won tonight. They got a 2-0 lead. Chicago right now currently holding a 10-point lead with about six plus minutes remaining. If Chicago slams the door on this, it will be a tied series. It will be 1-1 going to Chicago. And Anthony, there was also another bit of news that you wanted to talk about. Something big happening that caught your attention.
Yes. Just give me a second here. I don't know if you guys heard this, but I just came across it. I found it on social media. I looked into it, and you guys know Jay Wright from Villanova, right?
Yes.
Head basketball coach?
Yes.
He announced his retirement tonight.
Oh.
He's stepping down. And he's retiring as Villanova's head coach, and they've already hired a replacement. I'll tell you who that will be on the show tomorrow night. This is how it's going to go down when it comes to TXN Sports World tomorrow night. First and foremost, I'm not going to give too much of this away. I'm going to say before tomorrow, but tomorrow night's show is going to be a special show, and it's going to be dedicated to the memory of a very special individual on my end. And I'm going to dedicate it to this man tomorrow night because he was a huge sports fan. And that's why we were a little late coming in because, I told these guys about it. And I appreciate the love and support about that. And we're going to dedicate the show to his memory tomorrow night. And what we're also going to get into is the announcement of the 2023 Winter Classic. 23 NHL Winter Classic. They've announced the matchup and MF all out. This is one that you and I are most assuredly going to look forward to because, we've called a lot of games between these two teams, especially in 2013. We did the series these two teams had, which led to one of the great moments in the history of our then show, Strictly Sports, which is no longer our show, but when it was our show, it was without a doubt the greatest moment, one of the greatest moments. For me, it's my all-time favorite moment. But nonetheless, if that's not any hint, I don't know what it is. But Winter Classic, we're going to start with that, and then of course the big news about Jay Wright. Jay Wright announcing his retirement this evening. We will address that. The Indianapolis Colts adding a new addition to their defense, and we'll also address the Sunday Night Football. The Sunday Night Football crew, NBC Sports made that official. So, including a brand new sideline reporter, we'll address that. And then in the main event, that will be the Bulls Corner. Well, the Celtics chat, then the Bulls Corner, because the Celtics were first, and then the Bulls right now. So we'll get into all that tomorrow night and the special dedication on my end. So that's tomorrow. And MF, I'm afraid you have some bad news in regards to this week's Cerebral Smack Talk.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, due to a few things that was beyond our control, Cerebral Smack Talk has been sacked. We're not doing it this week, guys. So just so that we can clear the head, that we can clear everything. So there's really nothing more to add. So hopefully it'll be back next week, but this time around, Cerebral Smack Talk will not be on this week. So we're sacking it, and we're just gonna say that it's done. So that's out of the way, and from there, yeah, we're gonna be doing it a whole bunch of other stuff next week. So for Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I am Michael Flecha. We will see you guys tomorrow night for TXN Sports World. Until then, have a good night, everybody. So long for now. Bye-bye.